Hey, I'm Jusko from ProbMoney.com, and in this video we are going to talk about credit card reconsideration lines, how you might turn a credit card rejection into a credit card approval. But first, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So if you are like most people and you get rejected for a credit card, you will, I don't know, maybe swear at the credit card company, or maybe you'll just throw the letter in the trash and move on with your life. Or if you're really mad, maybe you'll go on to Reddit and complain, or maybe even in a YouTube video's comments, you will say some bad things about the credit card company. But if you actually want any hope of changing that rejection into an approval, the thing to do would be to call the credit card issuer's reconsideration line, in some cases which is just their regular customer service line, and plead your case a little bit to get a second chance, have them take a second look. And in this video we're going to talk about what your game plan might be in calling that reconsideration line. Now, when you're denied for a credit card, you are going to get a response either online or by mail, oftentimes both, giving you 2 or 3 reasons why you were rejected, and then also a telephone number will be in that message telling you to call in if you want to talk further about the situation. That telephone number is your reconsideration line. Sometimes a reconsideration line is a dedicated phone line just for rejected applications for people to call in. Probably more often it is just a general customer service line from that credit card company, and you'll either deal with whoever picks up the phone, or they will route you to the right person once they find out what it is that you are calling about. Now, many of us do not like to talk to people on the phone, maybe in general, but maybe even more so when it is someone that we don't know and we're talking about something having to do with our finances. My only advice for that is you just gotta deal with it. Sometimes you gotta push through hard things in order to get something you want on the other side. Before you call, make sure you get a copy of your credit report so you can see what is in that credit report, especially as it relates to the reasons for denial in the letter you got. And so also when you're talking to the person on the phone, you will be able to have the information that they have, or hopefully at least have most of the information that they have, to talk knowledgeably about your situation. You can get your credit report for free from annualcreditreport.com. You can pull it from one or all 3 of the credit reporting bureaus one time per year for each of the bureaus. If you know which bureau the credit card company used in making a decision on your particular credit card application, well, then that would be the one that would make the most sense for you to pull. If you don't know, just pull all 3 and then you will have all of them available to you. When you call in, be nice. The person on the other end of the phone doesn't have a whole lot of incentive to help you. So if you start in all belligerent and angry, or you start complaining about customer service being in another country and that you can't understand the person on the other end of the phone, you can be sure that they are not going to help you and that you might get hung up on. Now again, when you got the denial letter, there are 2 or 3 reasons for your denial on that letter. So be prepared to address those and say why they are not very good reasons. Maybe there was the reason that you have too much debt in comparison to your total available credit. And maybe you look at that and say, well, yeah, it's still kind of high, but it used to be a lot higher, and I've been making these big payments to get it down, and so I should be rewarded for that, and instead you're punishing me. That might be an argument that would work for you. Or maybe one of those reasons is you have too many inquiries on your credit report over the last 1 or 2 years, and you might look at that and say, well, that's kind of BS. I got 1 credit card a year and a half ago, and I have 2 inquiries on there. That doesn't seem like very much. Well, you could call in and say, well, what is the sort of dividing line there? That doesn't seem like very many to me. Oftentimes the reason for a rejection is multifaceted, and so if you can get someone on the phone and talk through the reasons, well, then maybe you can get them around to your side. And also remember that most people will never call in, and so the fact that you have even called into the reconsideration line is going to put you a little bit ahead of everybody else and make it a little more likely that you would be reconsidered because you took the trouble to show that you really do want that card. And something else that can happen when you call the reconsideration line is that you can find the real reason why your credit card application was denied. You'll get that denial letter and it will give you 1, 2, 3 reasons, but you might find out once you actually get on the phone that those aren't all the reasons, and that maybe the crucial reason was something different. You might get someone on the phone and they'll say, oh, well, you had your credit report frozen and so we couldn't access it, so we couldn't make a decision, and so we just denied you. Or they might say, oh, well, you have another credit card with us and it has, I don't know, $6,000 in available credit, and that's all we will give you based on your income. Well, once you have that kind of information, well, then possibly you can do something about it and actually get things changed. Unfreeze your credit report, or you could say, hey, can you give me the second card and take some of that available credit from the first card and put it on the second one? So I'll still have $6,000 in available credit, but now I'll have 2 cards with that $6,000 spread over them instead of just 1 card with $6,000. And this is something that some credit card companies will do. So there is information sometimes that you can only find out by calling. Now you might ask yourself why a credit card company would send you a denial letter with reasons for the denial that are not the real reason for the denial. And the reason for that is because it's easier to send you a form letter with plausible reasons why you may have been denied than to go through the trouble of really telling you the individual reason that is specific to you. If you are someone that is sort of on the bubble in terms of approval and there's some reason that they would have to do more work to get you approved, they're not necessarily going to do it. Now, if you make a lot of money and you put a ton on your other credit cards, well, then maybe they'll do the extra legwork to try to get you approved. But otherwise, it's going to be up to you to call in and plead your case in order to get approved. Now, if you watch any other YouTube videos about this same topic, they might tell you that you should tell the person on the phone what it is you like about the card to show them that you are really interested in it, talk about the rewards or whatever other features that you are into and say, you know, I really spend a lot in this category and so this card would be really great for me. For the most part, I don't think that matters a whole lot. What really matters is whether you are financially able to handle that card. So if you can tell them, yeah, I'm going to spend $30,000 on groceries in the next year, and they know you're going to put all that on a card, well, maybe that would have some bearing. But unless you're somebody that's really kind of a high roller in the spending area, that's kind of just like kissing their butt to tell them why you like the card so much. Now, one thing I'll tell you do not do, and other people will tell you this as well, don't talk about the bonus. If you are into getting this card for the bonus, they definitely are not going to say, yeah, we want to approve the person that's going to get the bonus and then not use the card anymore. The bonus is a way to try to draw you in, but if you've already been denied for the card, you're certainly not going to get approved for it if you start talking about the bonus you want. Now, with all that said, what are the chances of turning a denial into an approval? For most people, probably not that good. However, if you got your credit card letter or your response online and it left you scratching your head because you said none of these reasons really correspond to my credit history, or my credit score is really high and I spend on my credit cards but I don't spend too much and I don't have too many credit cards, blah, 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 and it just seems very confusing to you, well then maybe that's the time that the reconsideration line is something that you should be calling. However, if you are someone that has 6 months of credit, you got your first credit card and now you want to get your second credit card and they reject you and say, we rejected you because your credit history is not long enough, well, calling in is really not going to do a whole lot for you unless you just want to practice talking to people on the phone. If you can understand pretty easily why you were rejected, you're probably not going to convince somebody that you shouldn't be rejected for that very same reason that you understand why you were rejected. And then finally, you should know that depending on the company, the customer service person that you talk to may not have the power personally to change that denial into an approval. However, if you plead your case convincingly, they may have the ability to push it up a level to a person that could give it a second look and maybe give you that approval. If that happens, that is great. If it does not happen, be nice to the person on the phone again and just move on with your life. There are other fish in the sea. That is it for this video. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, put them in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.